Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and I've put together 10 decks from Standard and Wild to help you guys climb. The meta changed so much, but there are some new kind of things to try out. I'm trying to spice it up because, yeah, we have the latest balance patch that saw 25 buffs, just a couple of nerfs, and yeah, things haven't changed a ton in Standard. Wild, there's a lot of older decks to play again. We'll go over that. I've thrown in a couple of extra. It's actually more than 10, so hopefully these decks can help you climb, whether it's getting to like silver, gold, platinum, diamond, or even legend for the very first time. Again, craft at your own risk. And also a friendly reminder, we're on the road to 69,420 subs. It'd be awfully nice if we hit that milestone so we could have our next big giveaway. Plus, it's my birthday tomorrow, and douchebag Zeddy would love it if you subbed for his birthday. So starting out with Standard, I actually have 7 decks that you can kind of give a go, and there's others ones out there. I'll maybe mention them in passing, but Pure Paladin didn't get nerfed. It's still arguably the best deck in the game, especially across all ranks. The lower rank you are, the better the deck is, but even at Legend right now, this deck is still around like 60% overall win rate. No major changes over the last couple of videos, basically the same deck. The newest edition, Disco Mall, is just busted the amount of stats you can get. Just the warning I will always give about Pure Paladin is it's really about curving out. You fall behind, it can be really hard to catch up. You can kind of try and, you know, get your big light ray turns in. By the way, this card was nerfed already, remember that. And yeah, it's just try and get your 1-drops, 2-drops, curve out, just swarm your opponent with stats. The whole like Divine Shield stuff going on here with Funk Fin, Jitterbug, and all that's helped the deck out a little bit this set, but overall it's just performing really well, and it's relatively easy to play. Just play on curve and try and win. And of course you have the Countess in there for that late game bomb where you can just get random legendaries. No triple rune legendaries anymore, but legendaries nonetheless that can absolutely steal games. And wouldn't you know, Frost Deathlight, still gonna recommend it. Frost and Unholy are probably the 2 best Deathlight decks right now, and Triple Blood still good. If you have any of those decks still, they're all worth playing. They're all legend capable, but Frosty K still seems like the best, most popular list. It's basically the exact same thing from before the nerf. You're still running Rowdy Fan. You're still running Overseer Frigidara, because why wouldn't you? And we have Pozic in here. Really good on curve. You play that on a curve, your opponent is like, do you guys spend 3 mana on a 3/3, or we're gonna just let this thing go? And then, you know, if they leave it alone, they're gonna get hit by it. Really frustrating card. And overall, yes, you're probably sick of this deck, but I absolutely have to recommend it because it is still really good, and the Discover nerf and all of that hasn't hit it too hard. But yes, you can't discover Frostworm's Furies anymore, whether it's Vizier, whether it's Frost Strike, so be aware of that, but it's definitely not like a deck killer whatsoever. Next, another deck that's really starting to move up. It's kind of closed the gap. There's been a tiny bit of a shift, and Undead Priest is one of the decks to really benefit from that. You know, another face deck where you play your early game undeads. You can go face with your Dark Bishop Benedictus hero power. You have this card, just insane. Shadow Word Undeath, the AoE, it's 4 damage to ghost face, can just clear boards from Deathlights and all that. You've got the new core set edition in here of Shadow Ascendant, but overall not a ton of new cards, and just overall a very efficient aggro deck that could definitely do some damage. We have Outcast Demon Hunter. You could play Spell Demon Hunter, which like Sinful Brand OTKs. There's Relic Demon Hunter, but this is the deck I've been enjoying the most. Luna got rank 1 with it recently, and it's really hard to play. It's not the easiest deck in the world to play. I find it very rewarding, where, you know, you want to play all your cheap Outcast cards, cheat up your Wallopers. You have Glaive Tar in there to draw an insane amount of cards, plus push a lot of damage, and you can do some really sneaky stuff with Helveria. Anything lives on the board with like security, you can really buff up that board, or you can buff up Lady Astheno and do incredible damage. Again, not the easiest deck in the world to play, but very rewarding, and when played well, can absolutely crush it. And definitely at the lower ranks it played well, like it just farms Pure Paladin. I haven't lost to a single Paladin playing this deck, so if you're annoyed by Paladin, Outcast Demon Hunter is a great great option. And now we're going to go to slightly less optimal lists out there. Totem Shaman. Totem Shaman has been a very effective deck for a lot of people. A lot of the additions, either in the core set, like Grand Totem Izor, Thing from Below, have been really solid. You got Bloodlust in here, of course, to get your finisher. But the big, most powerful thing you can really do is the same as even Shaman and Wild, where you play your Carving Chisel, Anchor Totem, and spam your like your schooling cards, your totemic evidence, get those totems, get them buffed up, and then you can just buff them even more. Again, what's Stonewright, Bloodlust, Rotgill, really effective deck. Once it kind of loses board, it's kind of over for the most part, unless you got a good refuel, but still a lot of people doing really well. Very legend capable deck, and if you want to go a little bit more off meta, play a more token based deck, play Shaman. Definitely recommend it. This deck kind of came out of the blue, at least at higher legend or legend. Not a ton of sample size on this, but I gotta recommend it. It's like an aggro-ish, but with late game focused hunter deck. It's got Hydrolodon, King Mukla, Hope of Kel'Thuzad, Queen Ajara, which is pretty easy to buff up with the new cards like Bunch of Bananas, Barrel of Monkeys, and it's got a lot of the old Big Beast Hunter cards. And this is sporting a near 60% win rate through Diamond through Legend, at least on Donkey site. And it's not a deck I'll recommend crafting, but if you have a lot of these cards, and a lot of the new ones are cheaper, like if you have these legendaries, like POSIX free, like a lot of these legendaries are older ones. Like if you don't have Mukla, you could probably sub something else in, but regardless, I gotta throw a new recommendation out there, and this deck is posting a pretty decent win rate, and it looks kind of fun, and I might play it later today on stream. We're gonna stream some more Standard and Wild, so want to head over to twitch.tv/Zeddy. Might do a little roulette, try a bunch of these decks out today. Actually doesn't sound like a bad idea. And lastly, I'll throw out Jombray's Deathrattle Druid. You could also play like the Tony Druid. You could check out my last video, which recommended that for decks. I don't think it's really changed since then, but this is sporting a decent win rate. Yes, a deck with Kolak is doing pretty well, but it has the recently buffed Death Blossom Womper, where you play your Timber Tambourine, you curve in, you get Death Blossom Womper, and you just draw either Masked Reveler, you draw or Stoneborn General, and then you can like cheat out other stuff like Neptulon, all that. You can buff things up with the new Drum Circle card. It's a scam deck, it's a big deck, but it is performing pretty well. It actually is winning games. If you happen to have a bunch of these cards, I'd say give it a try. Again, these decks I'm not really good at. These last few decks, definitely don't want to really recommend you crafting them, but give it a shot if this looks fun to you and you have a bunch of these cards, because it's performing at least reasonably well right now. And regards to Wild, none of the new cards really made a lot of the new strategies or any strategies in Wild work, outside of a couple of exceptions we'll mention, and of course the Twig Sphere thing, but that got nerfed. So Kingsbane, one of the decks that really got an advantage of it with the new cards in here, particular Harmonic Hip Hop is disgusting. Mic Drop, just buffing up that Kingsbane. It is so easy to get to like 10, 12 damage really early. That's why I run a copy of Leeching Poison, because with Doomerang, you could just full heal pretty easily. Leeching Poison, kind of meta. Got ETC in here because you draw your deck so freaking fast that I even run cards like Zeph, Evasion to stay alive, or Loatheb to lock out the more of the control decks. But yeah, you buff up your Kingsbane, you smack your opponent a ton. It's gross, it's degenerate. I kind of love this style, but it probably should get nerfed. But really effective deck, especially if you're facing a lot of slower decks. Big Priests of the world just farms them. Even Shaman, nothing really changed here. It's Even Shaman. It's a very good deck. Click the button, play Chisel Totem, play Stonewright, get Thing from Below's out. This deck basically plays itself and is very, very easy to climb with. Literal bots hit legend with this deck. So yeah, Even Shaman's still good. Same with Shutterwalk Shaman. I saw they tried Chill Vibes in here. Maybe give that a go. But you have the Shutterwalk cards. Basically the same old thing. You're not even really going infinite with Shutterwalk anymore, because you just kill your opponent with Astalor or lock them out with Loatheb and the Giant Mutinous turns. Shutterwalk's not even that big a deal in this deck. It doesn't matter a ton. It's Astalor that carries so much, or the Clownfish Scargill scams with the Murlocs. Really gross, still really good. Secret Mage, it's Secret Mage. Literally nothing new, but it's Secret Mage. You can win games with it. It plays itself again. Cheat out secrets, lock your opponent out, burn them out. Really good. And the last deck, I will throw out an oddball deck. Again, I won't really recommend crafting it, but Get Meowth had some pretty good success with Menagerie Warrior with all the buffs. There are some cards in Wild that really take advantage of it, more so than standard, like Tent Thrasher. You can cheat out with all the tribal minions and all of that. Ringmaster's Baton, hitting up a bunch of the minions in hand. And of course, you got Patches the Pirate, you got Parachute Brigand, and Town Crier to draw cards. Exhaust First Mate. You have a lot of really good cards. Try and snowball that board and just win with an obscene amount of stats that Party Animal can really help with Baton. So again, not going to highly recommend this deck, but again, you have a bunch of these cards, give it a go. So there you go. Those are a bunch of decks from Standard and Wild that you can try and take and climb. Again, the meta hasn't changed a ton. I will probably have videos talking about, you know, buffs just don't move the needle like we really would like to see things. A lot of people are really frustrated. We'll probably, again, talk about that tomorrow. I'll probably have an achievement guide hopefully up this weekend as well, and maybe some birthday bash shenanigans. I don't know. I gotta figure something out. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.